Welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining us. Okay, let's dive right in because today we're unpacking a truly fascinating story. It's a classic tale that explores a concept we all struggle with from time to time: intellectual humility. We're going to look at a narrative called The Wisdom of the Empty Cup. So consider this question for a second. What is the absolute greatest obstacle to learning? Is it a lack of resources, lack of time, or is it something much closer to home? Keep that question rolling around in your head as we go on this journey today. The answer might actually surprise you, and it really forms the entire core of our explainer. All right, Section 1, The Proud Scholar, the Burden of Knowing Too Much. Our source text introduces us to a highly intelligent young guy named Alex, a village scholar whose endless praise, well, it went straight to his head. So, living in this quiet village surrounded by these beautiful green mountains, Alex had basically breezed through school with perfect grades, read countless books. But this brings us to his fatal flaw. His favorite phrase was, "I already know that." Whenever people in the village tried to speak, Alex would literally just interrupt them. Whenever someone offered advice, he'd brush them off with those exact 5 words. He was so convinced of his own brilliance that he just completely stopped listening to anyone else. Well, one day, Alex catches wind of these rumors about an old teacher living up on top of a nearby mountain. Everyone claimed this man was the wisest person in the entire country. Hearing this, Alex just smirks. He decides he's going to hike up that mountain and visit him. But he wasn't going up there to learn. No way. Arrogantly enough, Alex thought he might actually be able to teach the old master a thing or two. Which brings us to Section 2, the overflowing cup, a surprising reception. The next morning, Alex makes this long, grueling climb and finally meets the old master, who surprisingly welcomes him by saying he'd been expecting a, quote, curious visitor. So Alex sits right down and immediately demands to learn the old man's absolute greatest secret. The teacher, he just nods, says very well, and pops inside the house. A few moments later, he comes back carrying a teapot and 2 empty cups. He sets 1 cup right in front of Alex and slowly begins pouring tea until the cup is completely full to the brim. But he doesn't stop.
He just keeps pouring. Hot tea starts spilling right over the edges of the cup. The tension is really ramping up here because the old man is completely ignoring the fact that this cup is already overflowing.
Now the tea is just flowing rapidly all across the table. It's making a massive, scalding mess, totally ruining the wood and cascading right onto the floor. And still, the teacher refuses to stop pouring. Finally, Alex just can't take it anymore. He jumps up in an absolute panic, completely bewildered, and shouts, "Stop! The cup is already full. It literally can't hold any more." The old teacher finally stops pouring. He looks up at Alex, gives a little smile, and says a single word. Exactly. And guys, this brilliantly illustrates the core metaphor of our whole story. The teacher gently points to that overflowing cup and explains that this cup is exactly like Alex's mind. It's already full. Because Alex believes he already knows everything, it is physically impossible for anything new to get in there. Just as a full cup cannot take in any more tea, a closed, arrogant mind cannot receive new knowledge. The teacher tells him, the smartest people aren't the ones who know the most, they're the ones who never stop learning. For the first time in years, just standing there looking at the tea puddled on the floor, Alex is completely silent. He has absolutely no answer. Moving on to Section 3, the silent lessons, learning through living. Realizing he'd spent years listening to literally nobody but himself, Alex decides to stick around and stay with the teacher for a few weeks, helping with daily chores and just experiencing quiet mornings. But Alex's old mindset hasn't totally vanished just yet. Every single morning, they work together in the garden, they clean the house, they cook simple meals. Sometimes they just sit there in total silence and watch the sunrise. And Alex keeps wondering, okay, when are the actual lessons going to begin? Finally, one evening, all that confusion and frustration just bubbles over. He looks at the old man and says, "Teacher, you haven't taught me anything." The old man simply smiles and asks, "Haven't I?" And here is where the puzzle pieces really come together. The teacher explains that Alex was actually learning this entire time. Through all those mundane daily chores, he was absorbing some truly profound things. Step 1, working in the garden, that taught him patience. Step 2, cleaning and helping out, that taught him kindness. And Step 3, eating that simple food, taught him gratitude. So what does this all mean? Well, the most important lesson of all, the teacher explained, was that by not speaking, by just being present and observing the world around him, Alex had finally learned how to truly listen. Alex just lowered his head, realizing that every single day of those silent weeks had been a massive, life-changing lesson in itself. This brings us to our final part, Section 4, the secret to wisdom and the empty cup legacy. Before Alex leaves the mountain to head back down to his village, the teacher hands him the very same empty cup from their first meeting. It's a profound parting gift, a physical reminder to always, always leave room for learning. The source text then jumps forward in time. Years later, Alex grows up to become a highly respected and really beloved teacher himself. His students absolutely adore him. But here is the real kicker, the key takeaway. They don't love him because he has all the answers. They love and respect him because he listens carefully to them. Whenever someone asks the adult Alex, what is the secret to wisdom, he just smiles. He holds up that old empty cup he got on the mountain all those years ago, and he gives this beautiful answer. The day I emptied my mind, my life became full. Let's synthesize these lessons for our own lives, right? First up, stay humble. Just like that empty cup, you have to intentionally create space for new ideas. Second, keep learning. The smartest people out there are the ones who realize they definitely don't know it all. And finally, never believe you know everything. A closed mind simply cannot receive new knowledge. It's that simple. Which brings us to the end of our explainer today and directly back to you. I want you to take a second and really evaluate yourself. Is your cup too full for anything new? The next time someone offers advice, or maybe you're faced with a challenging new viewpoint, check your cup. You might just need to empty it to let the wisdom in. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, keep learning.